high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jim Minaldi from the KFNX Weather Bug Weather Center.
Currently, in downtown Phoenix, it's 46 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
The Office Pile is one of the top co-working spaces in the nation because it provides the best office space for a multicultural and diverse business community. If you're a business owner looking to rent space, join today for as little as $165 a month. Never a contract or long-term lease. The Office Pile offers you the most beautiful and affordable office space and event hosting destination in Arizona. We can host any event from 2 to 500 guests. TheOfficePile.com, TheOfficePile.com.
Is your car safe? Imagine that it could be for less than your insurance deductible. Revelco is a little gray plug that disables your engine. The wires are armored and hidden, and everyone is different, which means thieves can't bypass it. Just insert the little gray plug when you get in, then remove it and take it with you after you park. Get yours today at littlegrayplug.com. Call 480-248-8378 or visit littlegrayplug.com.
The Office Pile is one of the top co-working spaces in the nation because it provides the best office space for a multicultural and diverse business community. If you're a business owner looking to rent space, join today for as little as $165 a month. Never a contract or long-term lease. The Office Pile offers you the most beautiful and affordable office space and event hosting destination in Arizona. We can host any event from 2 to 500 guests. TheOfficePile.com, TheOfficePile.com.
Este baile no hay salida, que corre el tiempo. Pégate y zumba conmigo.
Live from Phoenix, this is the Entrepreneurs in Fuego, the #1 multimedia broadcast show for entrepreneurs in Arizona. And now, here's your host, Francisco Javier.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurs in Fuego radio show. We're the #1 multimedia broadcast show for entrepreneurs in Arizona. Good morning. Good morning, Phoenix. We're going to gain 5 pounds today. In intelligence and in girth, actually, because we have one of our new sponsors, Sweet Land Cake, who's provided us with, they're called quesitos. Quesitos, which means like little cheese in Spanish. I know by the end of the show, I will be 10 pounds, not 5, but 10 pounds bigger. But that's okay. Those things are good. I'm going to have to go to the gym afterwards. Today's show is particularly topical because it's about the need to remind the world that it's just not about the big companies, but it's about the small guy. This is about 28 million small businesses and tens of millions of self-employed freelancers that the world, our governments, local and otherwise, need to listen to. Who's going to pay my tax incentive so that they can keep me here in Phoenix? Joining me in studio, it is my pleasure. She is an absolute fount of data. Mary, my guest co-host this morning is Mary Hall, who is the founder of Culture Wise Consulting, a People Inc. certified facilitator. And if that weren't enough, she is also the co-founder and COO of Take Charge America. Mary's companies was awarded 4 Best Places to Work awards, 3 BBB Ethics Awards, and 2 Presidential Points of Light Awards for volunteerism. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Francisco.
You have data, but you've got papers all spread out over there. I am very threatened.
No problem. It's just paper.
No, it's just paper full of facts
full of
facts and data.
That's right.
We're going to throw that out like it's like sabers.
Yes, this is the year of fact checking.
Please.
Okay.
You can say anything without any consequence. That's unfortunately what we've learned this year.
Yes.
And the year before. Very sad. My name is Francisco Javier, your co-host, CEO and founder of the Office Pile, named in 2015 one of the top co-working communities in the world. And I love saying this. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Gene Kernan, who is in studio with Locomotive Marketing, turning free Wi-Fi into, here's what happens. Somebody smokes right before we come on the air, and they speak into this microphone, so I get all that smoke smell right in my microphone.
Want a little perfume?
Yes.
Shoo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Turning free Wi-Fi into your number one marketing tool. And, by the way, my brother Gene Kernan right here. Now we have Wi-Fi inside the studio. Is that correct, Mike? It is. All right. So if you want to have Wi-Fi, all you got to do is look for the Enfuego Wi-Fi, click on it, log in with your Facebook or LinkedIn, your social media account. Bam. You have Wi-Fi. He can do that for your business. Any business. That is really cool. That way you don't have to stress anytime you go into any other business. All you got to do is log in with your social media account. Is that right, Gene? Yeah.
He's the man.
He's having quesitos right now, so his mouth is full. Leona Bush with Clean Kiss for the Kiss of Health. I saw her yesterday at the Trade Source event. She's amazing. Brittany Eric is another one of our sponsors, inspirational life coach, author, speaker. If you get a chance, look for her story on Entrepreneurs en Fuego on the YouTube channel. And Sally Valencia with Trade Source, helping Phoenix businesses increase customers' revenues and bottom line profits since 1987. Also joining us in studio, we have a packed house. We have several special guests. This is like the final four, right? I mean, we've got Brad Kemp, president of Anago of Phoenix, eclipsing customer expectations through efficient response, attention to detail, integrity, and exceptional customer service, and I attest to that. Brian Cowarding, VP Sales of Elite Restaurants, Membership Club. This is really cool stuff. For Foodies, Club for Foodies, that gives you access to special events and discounts at the best restaurants, along with the ability to earn points towards rewards while giving back to the local community. Did I miss anything, gentlemen? Good morning.
No.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think you got it.
Does that about sound? All right. But at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined in by Justin Abate, Esquire. We won't hold that against him. MBA, President and CEO of Von Rick Digital Market. Justin doesn't believe in status quo. Or business as usual. And he'll tell us why at the bottom of the hour. But now let's go back to the top. Mary, good morning.
Good morning, Francisco.
First, before we get into our topic of the day, let's talk a little bit about what you do, because you're truly you embody the idea of the small business person, and you embody the journey. And by the way, you're going to have to pardon my accent and stuff. Sometimes where I get too excited, my accent sounds Italian, sounds Spanish, sounds everything. But you, like I said again, you reflect that sentiment. The small business person. Tell us a little bit about your journey as a small business person.
Absolutely. Well, my business journey as a small business entrepreneur started about 30 years ago. My husband and I and a lot of family members started a company, just a few of us. And over a period of time, not a short period of time, over a good 10-year stretch, building up the company, the technology, the process, the people, we ended up growing the company from about 5 to 500 employees with a service that went nationwide. So we worked with some of the biggest banks in the country, from all the way from B of A to Wells Fargo to Citibank, you name it, we were working with them. And one of the things that became the most important in my role as the COO were the people practices. And so what I learned along the way is that if you focus too much on the bottom line and you don't focus on the people who help you get to the bottom line, then you're going to see some things happen that are going to end up affecting your bottom line negatively. People are the most important part of any company. So all the things I did, that's what became my passion, and that's what led me to starting CultureWise Consulting.
And that is cool. We're going to be discussing today the erosion of Main Street USA and what we need to do in order to bring back excitement in businesses and progress back to small town USA, and also to bigger towns, naturally. But you have created, since you started, a culture in your organization, because that's what you're all about, and created a small business to a little bit of a bigger business. And so you've traveled that road.
Correct.
And that road is not an easy road, was it?
It's not easy, but it can be a lot of fun. We talked this morning about entrepreneurs getting up early, staying up late, working more hours than
Here we are.
people in typical jobs. Here we are, Sunday morning, 6 a.m. It's exciting, though. So the hard work converts into something more than just a bottom line result. It's what I call a huge opportunity to be able to run a business like you think a business should be run. It gives you the opportunity to make decisions, take those risks, and celebrate the ups and the downs. And so, no, it's not an easy journey, but I would say it's well worth it.
And the risks that you're talking about taking, they're very calculated risks. So in a sense, you mitigate that risk by really thinking about it. I mean, because you can't really, as a small entrepreneur, afford to take wild risks, if you will.
No, not in the beginning. It might be a risk just to become an entrepreneur. That some people see that as a wild risk.
Right.
But I think the most important thing when you're starting out and all along the journey is to listen to others, is to talk, to work within your network, have mentors, and to be able to ask them so that you can sidestep some of those problems and disasters that some entrepreneurs experience.
Very, very interesting. Brian Cowarding is here also in studio, VP Sales at Elite Restaurants Membership Club for Foodies.
Yes.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about your journey, because it really fascinates me what you do. You've kind of disrupted a little bit of that traditional idea of the rewards card for foodies. Tell us about it.
Well, we have a membership program. It's an app that goes on the phone, and it allows you to go out to eat, get a free entree at some of the Valley's great restaurants. Mm-hmm. And we've really looked at restaurants that are not chains. It was important for us as a company to have restaurants here in town and really build that community around them, a community of people going out to eat and building those relationships with the small business owner.
And that's what's cool, because you're not going to, and you said it right there. I mean, the topic of the show today is about small businesses, and you're going around providing or offering the services to small businesses so that the small business can, in turn, bring about the local consumer.
Yep.
And that's what's cool about your rewards card. But tell us more about what makes that idea, your reward card, different from what previous plans, rewards cards that have been out there.
Absolutely. So ours is on your phone. It's an app based,
right.
And the nice thing about it, we work with it a lot of social media. So we are actively involved in the community with events. We're actively involved with charities. We're actively involved with fundraisers with schools, and that part's important to us because we're just really building around all of that. It's not just a discount program.
Right.
That's a benefit, but it's an overall community involvement, and even the members get involved with the app. They post pictures and comments, and that part's been rewarding and fun.
That's cool. Brad Kemp, he's my main man right here, president at Anago of Phoenix. Anago or Anago?
You can pronounce it either way, but
tomato.
Anago is typically the way we pronounce it.
Well, you see, you got me speaking Spanish now, and so I have my Spanish accent with it. But you're all about customer service and actually empowering people to come into your organization so that they can provide a future for themselves, a company for themselves. So tell us a little bit about your model. What you do?
Sure. So we're a franchise model. We assist people in starting small businesses, their own commercial cleaning company, and then we also partner with clients and find clients to bring into the mix to have business for those franchisees. So it's win-win all around. I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit and the passion to help people, and so it's been a lot of fun to help these people either start a part-time business or a full-time business so that they can go out there and provide for their family or take a child to college or whatnot. So.
And the people that you're empowering, that you're bringing into this business, what kind of people are coming into buying the franchises that you're discussing?
Usually small mom and pops, people that may not have a lot of business experience. So the nice thing is we assist them in teaching them the process. kind of like McDonald's and making a hamburger, right? You know the process, you teach them the process, and then we help them manage the back end of the business because a lot of them don't have a lot of business experience. So we can assist them with that and give them direction.
We're here with Mary Hull, who is my co-host. She's the founder of Culture Wise. We're here with Brad Kemp. You just heard him, president of, how do you say that again?
Anago.
That's exactly what I said.
It's a Latin Greek word that means to uplift.
Exactly.
So.
And I said anago because that's what I see it. I see it and I read it the way that I see it. Anago, but anago sounds good. And Brian Cowarding with Elite Restaurants, which is one of the coolest concepts that I've come across. I mean, it's really dear to my heart. Mary, you have some statistics. We're talking about the erosion of the small business in Main Street. And you have some statistics. In fact, you have like you brought your library in here. You have all these.
I sort of did. I do have a library here. I'm embarrassed to say.
The only statistic that I remember looking into is that there is about 28 million small businesses and tens of millions of self-employed freelancers that need a voice, that need the tax incentive to keep going, or that need some help. What kind of statistics do you have?
Wow. Well, let's see here. I think we're on the same page, Francisco. Small businesses create 65% of all new jobs. That's staggering. 77 million, million Americans is what I have from my research that are working self-employed, small businesses. Some amazing information here that small businesses have 13 times more patents than big business. Small businesses in their communities donate 2 times as much to local charities. And those are some of the hard facts. And a few things for people to understand when they're shopping. Some of the benefits of shopping locally are the economic returns to your community when you shop locally. Do you know that if you spend $10 a month locally, you're going to return $9.3 billion to the local communities?
Say that statistic again.
$10 a month will return $9.3 billion to the overall local community. Something as low in spending of $50 a month returns an unbelievable $42 million to local communities. So what does that do? What does that mean? It means that your community is thriving in terms of the economy, but some of the softer side, the qualitative benefits of shopping locally include what we would say, instead of the gross national product, you might be looking at what some countries are measuring. Countries I can't pronounce the names of, but they're measuring gross national happiness. And that's a new statistic to look at because, we live in a consumer-driven economy. And when you think about are people happy, well, sometimes that can happen more if they shop locally. I was in a store the other day, and it was a small business, and I was talking to the owner. And what I realized is that he took me around his shop. He knew his products. He took time to get to know me. He told me who I could purchase that was made locally. I got to know him. I got to know his name. We laughed. We smiled. And when I walked out the door, I realized I feel better. I know somebody in my community. And from a social standpoint, that's what people look for. They look to be involved in their communities, feel good, they're happier. So that's why some people started measuring the gross national happiness in their countries.
Brian, when you go to small businesses, it's got to be incredibly rewarding for them and for you as a business owner to know that you are directly taking the pulse or actually affecting a small business and the individual that is going to come in and patronize those restaurants, the small restaurants, small business. It's got to be very rewarding rather than having them go to a large chain restaurant, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a big part of our passion, and is to make sure that we involve these small restaurants.
Was that by design or
by design? We looked at we know that the big chains that come in, they have big budgets. They have social media. They come in with big dollars. It's the small restaurateur that has the trouble with social media. They have the trouble with the money that they can spend, and it's a disadvantage. So we looked at it and go, you know what? We're going to rally around the small business and rally communities around it and get involved that way. It was important.
And that is cool because you're promoting that small business and people, like you said, to rally around that small business so that they can patronize it and go there. And not only there, you're kind of I don't want to use the word bribing them to go, but there's some incentives for people. There's really tangible economic incentives for them to go there and patronize and consume and eat at those local restaurants. So and again and again and again. So it's not just a one-time thing because of your rewards program, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brad, when you take in one of your franchisees, also has to be equally rewarded because you're not just helping that individual, but that individual's family, right?
Absolutely.
So it's got to be the sense of responsibility that comes with that has to be just tremendous.
Absolutely, it's amazing to hear the stories of how you're helping people. People would come in and say, "Thank you. This helped me provide uniform for my child or school lunch or whatever the case may be." It really is appreciative to know that you're helping them give back to their family.
We've seen, I was driving over Indian School and I think it's like 44th Street or something like that the other day. And this sprawling shopping center is going up. And I'm thinking, that'd be great because, there'll be some small businesses and everything else. But I see the same usual suspects. Ross is coming in. And look, you're a great company, Ross, and the other. I get it. That's not the point. The point is that then why do I need another Ross in my neighborhood? Why do I need another Target in my neighborhood? Please explain to me. And the more that I see that, there's a great song by Jackson Brown. One of the lines in the song is, "All these towns look the same," and true enough. You folks travel throughout the country, and I can almost guarantee, and everybody's kind of nodding. When you go to another town, you can go into any part of that town, and very likely that town is going to look pretty much the same as the next town you're going to. What do we need to do in order to promote more businesses, more small businesses, that instead of having that new shopping center sponsor yet another Ross or Target or a big chain store, that we have maybe smaller restaurants, a smaller coffee shop, or a small mom and pop business, another ice cream store, and that's something that we can talk on the other side of this program. But in the meantime, is it even a problem? Is it something that is inevitable and that we just embrace it? What do you think?
I think that shifting some of your spending to local businesses so that they can thrive. So, we have a great resource in Phoenix called Local First, and that was started by Kimber Manning, dynamite woman, very intelligent, very talented. And you know what? The resources are there, but it's the people who are out spending their money to understand that this is what builds a vibrant community. And last night I was at the Electric Light Parade on Central Avenue. Yep. That's a community gathering. That's a community that comes together. It's a feel-good night. People celebrate. They get to know their neighbors. They trust their neighbors more. That's part of the fabric of our communities, and so are small businesses. So I would say go in and start shopping. Look around, especially during this holiday season. I think it was on Giving Tuesday. I'm sorry. I was thinking about all the different days that run together. Jeez. Small Business Saturday, after Black Friday, and then Shop Small Saturday, and then Cyber Monday, and then Giving Tuesday. But the numbers are going up. That's the good news. The numbers are going up on Shop Small Saturday. And so if people continue to do that, I think it'll encourage other entrepreneurs to jump in the game.
And here's one of my pet peeves. Whoever came up with all these designations, Small Shop Saturday or Cyber Monday or Giving Tuesday or Black Friday, genius. Because we've labeled all these days when in fact every day should be small shop
throughout the year. Right.
And the personal service, I think Mary hit the nail on the head. By going into the small business, you feel the passion of the owner, and I think the service tends to be a lot better.
Mm-hmm. I think you're spot on with that, and that's what studies show, is that consumers think that they're going to pay higher prices. They think that they're going to get less quality, when in fact it's the opposite. And certainly by just making an effort. So if this radio show in and of itself can inspire our local community to go out and check it out. And also, I mean, some of the things like you mentioned, we must have been at 44th Street in Indian Square on the same day, because I had that epiphany. And I was standing there and I'm looking across the street and I thought, what just happened? This is a community. And I thought, well, of course, I don't know how expensive retail leases are, but I believe they're extremely expensive. So I'm going to throw this out there. This is not a fact on one of my pieces of paper. I'm going to throw this out there that, when you get the big box stores, you get these very large publicly traded companies, they've got the overhead. They've got those, they've got the attorneys, they've got the overhead. They work out these leases, and they can absorb some of the losses on there, but small businesses just can't. So maybe it's the price of the leases out there.
On the other side, I agree. On the other side, we will welcome Justin Abate, President and CEO. He's an Esquire, by the way. President and CEO of Von Rick Digital. Just an amazing thing. He's going to blow your mind. Don't you go anywhere. This is the Entrepreneurs en Fuego radio show, and you're with the #1 multimedia broadcast show for entrepreneurs. See you on the other side.
Coverage you can count on around the clock. News, weather, and the KFNX traffic team. Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Studios and possible illegal living quarters in Oakland, California late Friday. 9 people died, at least 25 are still missing. Correspondent Dan Simon has been on the scene.
They believe that people were living there, but that's still part of the investigation. This is said to be what's called an artist collective.
Bodies can be seen in the rubble of the building, which residents knew as the Ghost Ship. 4 people, including 2 girls aged 7 and 8, died in a fire early Saturday at a home in Akron, Ohio. A 12-year-old girl was rescued. A woman escaped by jumping from an attic window in the 3-story house. Dozens of families have been displaced in Cambridge, Massachusetts, after a 10-alarm fire burned 11 buildings Saturday. And Cuba's 9 days of mourning end today as the ashes of former dictator Fidel Castro are buried in Santiago. I'm Christopher Cruz.
From the KFNX Weather Bug Weather Center for this morning, a clear sky, sunshine through the day today, the high 68. It'll be mainly clear tonight, low 42. Monday, sunshine, high 68. Tuesday's going to be a mostly sunny day with a high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jim Rinaldi from the KFNX Weather Bug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 50 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
The Office Pile is one of the top co-working spaces in the nation because it provides the best office space for a multicultural and diverse business community. If you're a business owner looking to rent space, join today for as little as $165 a month. Never a contract or long-term lease. The Office Pile offers you the most beautiful and affordable office space and event hosting destination in Arizona. We can host any event from 2 to 500 guests. TheOfficePile.com, TheOfficePile.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-643-6931 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-643-6931 to take your call now. Call 1-800-643-6931. That's 1-800-643-6931. Again, 1-800-643-6931.
Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Join me every Sunday morning, 7 to 9 for Shake, Rattle, and Troll, Arizona's only exclusive fishing show. A look at local, regional, national tournaments, recreational fishing, freshwater, saltwater, and beyond. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Chrysler Jeep and Dodge, Sunday morning, 7 to 9, right here on KFNX 1100.
The Del Walmsley Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
You need to stop being dependent on a paycheck. All of these self-help motivational people, they wind you up like a little clock. Click, 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 and then they'll let you go.
The Del Walmsley Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
The Office Pile is one of the top co-working spaces in the nation because it provides the best office space for a multicultural and diverse business community. If you're a business owner looking to rent space, join today for as little as $165 a month. Never a contract or long-term lease. The Office Pile offers you the most beautiful and affordable office space and event hosting destination in Arizona. We can host any event from 2 to 500 guests. TheOfficePile.com, TheOfficePile.com.
Este baile no hay salida, que corre el tiempo. Pégate y zumba conmigo con movimiento.
Welcome back to the Entrepreneurs en Fuego radio show. My name is Francisco Javier, and I am joined by guest co-host, the data lady. She's got all this data.
Dancing data lady. How can you not dance to that music?
Look, I figured it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you.
We got to get something.
If you had elevator music, we'd all be snoozing right now.
Mary Hall.
Oh my gosh.
Mary Hall, founder of Cultural Wise Consulting. By the way, watch Mary Hall's TV appearance. It was great. You came out on TV. It aired on Channel 7 yesterday. If you want to watch that, her interview, actually, or her appearance on TV, go to the Entrepreneurs en Fuego channel on YouTube, and you can watch not only that interview, but also the rest of our guest interviews today. We're joined in by Justin Abate, Esquire, MBA, President and CEO of Von Rick Digital. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, Francisco. Thanks for having me.
Man, we're going to get back to you here in a minute, but we're also in studio. We had Brad Kemp, president of Anago of Phoenix. See? Well, I got it right? I mean, it just keeps it hits me in the head, and at some point I'm gonna get it right?
You're thinking of the sushi.
Anago. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Ooh, you guys get out.
Sushi. Mm-hmm.
They have successful businesses.
You know? Wow.
And we had, at the top of the hour, we had Brian Cowarden with just an amazing company, Elite Foods. Elite. It's just phenomenal. Elite Restaurants Membership Club. Watch his interview also on Entrepreneurs en Fuego. That's really, really cool. But let me pay some bills right now. Infusionsoft is one of our sponsors, sales and marketing automation software built exclusively for small business success. Mallory Dyer, you got to watch her interview too. She's just an incredible. They've been winning all sorts of awards. She's CEO of GraphLock, turning your smartphone, tablet, or laptop into a fully functioning scientific and graphing calculator. And Marta Aguayo, CEO of Aguayo Motor Vehicle Services. Now that's one heck of a story. She's going to be here next week as part of Latinas en Fuego. We're going to have it's going to be a party in here.
That is going to be fun.
Yeah, I think so. And we're discussing today the erosion of Main Street USA and what we need to do to support our local businesses. And in studio, as promised, we do have Justin Abate. Justin, the floor
just call me
yours,
Mr.
man.
Von Rick.
Mr. Von Rick, man.
There you go.
Gamification.
Yeah.
Tell us about what that is.
It's just a fancy way of saying taking mechanics and processes we've been engaged with our entire lives since we, were counting sheep or watching things go around on the things above our head as we're children to progressing into our teenage years, and putting those in non-gaming context. So put them in like, against your business, whether you sell to customers, you sell to businesses, or you're in the education space. There is tremendous, and you know this from your conversations over the past week, tremendous progress being made with youth learning through games, because play is fun. And when you have fun, you tend to remember what you're doing.
So gamification, and that's what Von Rick Digital does. And with gamification, you are engaging the customer to come into your platform to buy your product or service, not in a very direct, in-your-face type of sales pitch, but rather, hey, look, I'm going to ask you to play a game so that at the end of the day, you're not only engaged, but you had fun in purchasing my product.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we focus on getting end users to engage with your content. That content can be anywhere, whether that's on your phone, on a website, on a microsite, landing page, video on YouTube, you name it. We want to get your target market to see that content, because we live in a day and age we have all this data to my left spread out across this table.
And that would be to the left is Mary Hall, of course, who are
I'm not taking that personally.
No, she comes prepared. More prepared than me, let me say.
I got a shredder in my purse.
Well, here's what happens, Esquire, because you got all that data in your head anyway. But here's what you're doing, because if you permit me, you do have an offer for small businesses, right? I mean, you give them that marketing savvy, that gamification, and you offer even a money-back guarantee, right?
Yeah, well, don't put me out of business here. I don't know if I want to run that special all the time.
It was a special. It was a special.
It was an Entrepreneurs in Fuego special.
There
so
you
I
go.
guess we're on the right channel.
There you go.
At the end of the day, what the reason I got into this is because I like telling stories, and every business has a story.
Right.
That's the core of what you do. Right. We don't do business with people because of what they do. We do it because of why they do it. It's that small business, that local flavor, that passion, helping your community. So I knew that every small business has startup costs that include legal, which, took care of that, but I still pay experts because it's not my daily job.
Sure.
And you need marketing. So if I can help them tell that story, that's going to be what drives revenue. And revenue is what ultimately we're in this for, because if we can't pay revenue, like the first of the month just happened, one of the most stressful times of the month for entrepreneurs, I would say, because we live so uncertain sometimes, but it's so rewarding because it's yours, and what you earn is yours.
And let me go a little bit of what you said, creating stories. Mary, creating stories. And that's about creating stories, creating a culture. And that's what you're all about, right? I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're a 2-man operation or 2-woman operation or a 1,000-person operation. You have to have a culture where that story is created, yes?
Right, because business is so much about numbers, so much about metrics, that when people are out there, businesses are created by people, for people. It starts to sound like one of our famous
by the people. Exactly.
By the people, for the people, by the people. So, it's interesting to go back and tell the stories of what made a difference to people. That's, in my line of work, that's your life. And so, as Justin said, as we're talking about people sharing their stories, what it means to them, that inspires others. And it certainly makes it something that reflects on your business.
And just to say, no, that's perfect, because to put this conversation in context, we're talking about how to promote the small business or the resurgence of the small business. And these are some of the things that perhaps they may sound obvious right now in this discussion, creating a culture, telling the story. And in fact, Brad, every day that you bring a franchisee on board, that's a story.
Absolutely. It's a story on their part and a story on our part, our interaction with them and their interaction with us.
And those stories with that culture that they must be creating, they should be aware of that. And bringing in gamification, that is another marketing tool or a different marketing tool that is going to give you the edge over and above your competition. That's the center of our small business. And that, I believe, must be promoted. Now, on the other side, we have the big box, like you were talking about. They have the budget, they have the attorneys, they have all the wherewithal to negotiate all these incredible leases and take advantage of all these little loopholes and everything. And we do not have that. Perhaps we don't have the money to hire the big time attorneys to advise us of that. So let's try to find maybe some solutions to bring the small. And look, I don't want to sound like a normal Rockwell painting, right? I mean, I'm not bucolic in that sense. I mean, I'm not disingenuous. Look, the big box is here, and it does drive the engine of this country. But you're talking about, Mary, 62%, I believe. I mean, you're the data person. It's 62% of the business is run by the small businesses, right? The small businesses of and so what do we need to do as consumers, perhaps, to vote, if you will, for the small business with our pocket? Is that what we need to do? Is that one of the solutions to bring about and to foster the small businesses?
I believe voting with your pocket is going to make a huge difference. Obviously, I talk a lot about people, and I firmly believe in that. And I don't mean to ignore the bottom line, because it is critical. And so if you just show up and you visit and you have a good time, that's wonderful. Great experience. If you show up, you visit, you have a good time, and you spend some money there that you might have spent next door at the big box store, just spread it out. It doesn't mean you don't need to shop at some of the big box stores, but spread it out a little bit, because at the end of the day, that's your community. And there's a few other things I just wanted to throw out there. In fact, not a few, just one right now.
You can throw anything you want. Go ahead. This is your show.
Anything that incents people to shop locally, such as concern over their environment. There's a lot of statistics out there for people to think twice about where they're shopping because of the impact on our environment. Okay, so not to knock big business too much, but remember, all of those products and so on need to be shipped into your community. That has a big footprint on our environment. Smaller businesses, farmers markets, small business, grocery stores, you name it, they're shopping locally themselves, which has sort of a ripple effect. It's got an exponential impact on your community in terms of those dollars staying in your community.
Is there something that you would want to see, Brad, that would help your small business or your small franchisees come into your business and grow your business? What if you had a magic wand? What is it that you would do in order to bring more small businesses into the community?
Well, I think, as Mary said, shopping small business is imperative to the success. And I think, as we said earlier, the customer service is by far going to be greater. The big box stores are hiring warm bodies to come in and service the clients that are coming in. And I think by going to the small businesses, you feel the culture and the passion that these entrepreneurs have, and they're going to go above and beyond because they want your business. They want to be successful. They want you to keep coming back to their business.
What you're saying is that if we lose a customer being a small business, it really just brings you so much pain. I mean, you don't want to have, if you're a big box store, you lose a customer. Here's an 800 number. Call in and file your complaint, right?
Exactly, right. So if you have an issue, you can go back to the small business, and they're going to take care of it because they have that passion to care about you as a client. The big box stores, I mean, think about the last time you called a big box store. You're on hold for 20 minutes. If you even get a chance to talk to someone, a lot of times they'll defer you to another 800 number or another customer service person. You don't get that same level of service.
Marketing is a key part of the small business, Justin.
It is.
And even if we have the best business in the world, culture-wise, consulting, we have Anago Enterprises, Anago Cleaning, you have all these great businesses, right? Mm-hmm. But if nobody knows about you, that's where you come in, Justin. You have to be able to promote and let the word out that, hey, I'm here, I exist, I'm a small business, please come and shop with me. What do we do about that? In addition to gamification, you gotta. What is your website address so that people can go and check out exactly what gamification is? Because at the beginning, it was for me, it was the first time that I've heard it, although gamification has been around forever. Well,
Right.
not forever, but
10 years.
10 years or so. And I had no idea that I was being sold that way. So where could people go to check out what gamification is, number one, and what else should we do as marketers in order to promote our business?
Well, our website is under construction because we recently went through a joint venture merger with one of our partners from South Africa who just left a few days ago. But it's vonrickdigital.com. If you want to get in touch with us, just email ceo@vonrickdigital.com and we'll get in touch with you. I will get in touch with you because we are a startup. And at the end, I want to challenge us actually because we keep talking about consumers coming into small businesses, but I can't just, as a marketer, wave a magic wand and say, consumers are going to come. You have to have relationships and strategic partnerships, just like Brian has with his group of restaurants. They strategically see the advantage of joining that, co-op of businesses because if someone is interested in one of the restaurants on there and they're on that site, they're going to see that logo, and that's a local small business logo. And that was a calculated risk that small business took. And as entrepreneurs, we know our success is basically, Richard Branson taught us this, right? It's based on your luck is determined by the calculated risks that you take. Yep. And, your relationships and the time that you invest in them, you can't measure time on a spreadsheet, but you'll know where you're investing your time and getting return back on that. And especially with strategic partnerships, I can't tell you the blessing it's been to find entrepreneurs in Fuego and yourself. And I know Darren expresses that as well. It's to know that there are others out there, and it's not easy. It's so not easy, right?
That is such a fabulous point, Justin. I'm so glad you brought that up because sometimes when you're a small entrepreneur, you don't know what you don't know. And you're working so hard and if you can imagine, when we started our business, there was no internet.
Whoa.
There was no internet. When you needed to find something out, you had to go down to the post office to get forms. You needed to talk to somebody. You needed to network. So you depended on your network.
Now, Chambers of Commerce had a meaning back then.
Yes.
What's a Chamber of Commerce? I thought they just sponsor local entrepreneur events, right?
Yeah. So
exactly.
Talking to other people, going in and sharing stories with other entrepreneurs, associating. That's the strength, getting in associations that work, mind you. But I think that's an excellent point for new and upcoming entrepreneurs. Talk to others.
Go on Facebook and search for, groups with the word entrepreneurs in it. I mean, we are a support network of people. Just having your own business, that gains you admission, right? Like that's the golden ticket. Because if you don't do that, we know you're probably just there to hate, and we know haters have to exist, but we don't want you where we're trying to get inspiration to keep going. Because that's the hardest thing some days. It's just to keep going.
That's pretty genius. The fact that you're an entrepreneur, it makes you a member, period. And that's true. That is absolutely true.
It's a blood, sweat, and tears game.
And people help people, right? So when you're networking, like at the office pile, I'm sure you see people in there every day that are having conversations or meetings, and they overhear other people talking, and, oh, wow, I think I want to meet that gentleman and have a conversation because he said a couple little tidbits that I think I can take from that and use for my business.
That is very true. And I can't tell you the amount of times that serendipity is, maybe I should call it serendipity pile or because it is incredible when people come to the show or come to the office pile, that by the mere fact that they're there, you overhear somebody is exact, and it happens.
We're so nosy.
It happens.
We're all so nosy, aren't we?
Do you know, and being an entrepreneur, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, can be a very lonely role.
Wow.
So lonely. Yep. And so if you're working out of your house and you're spending untold hours in front of a computer and you're trying to build it up, going to someplace like the office pile is incredibly inspiring. being able to share your experience, laugh with other entrepreneurs, not feel like a failure because things aren't working right away, because they don't usually work right away. So I think that's another great suggestion.
Absolutely.
Well, for the office pile, I want to just jump in because it's not just a place for entrepreneurs, right? People who work from home for businesses. It's not as easy as it sounds just to do that. That's a challenge to be able to work in your own environment.
Oh, yeah.
You can go to a place like the office pile. You don't need to be an entrepreneur to gain admission there. You just have to have money, right? Because you have to have a membership, right?
And very, very little, as a matter of fact, and as little as $4 a day.
Wow!
And then you go in.
I think there's free coffee there too, so that's a wash.
Let me tell you something.
Hey, the coffee he has next to him costs more than a daily membership. You know that?
Free coffee, free Wi-Fi, courtesy of my main man right here, Gene Kernan. See how dexterous I was in just providing you the plug right there, my man, with a free Wi-Fi and everything else, courtesy of Gene Kernan. Local Motive, thank you for reminding me of your company name, Local Motive Marketing. Here we have Mary Hull, founder of Cultural Wise. We're here in the studio with Brad Kemp, president of Anago of Phoenix, Justin Abate, president and CEO of Von Rick Digital and Gamification, and of course, Brian Cowarding was also here at the top of the hour, and we're discussing how to bring back small businesses or the excitement and the money into small businesses so that we can see more of the small businesses thrive in our society. And I was thinking the other day, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great whenever, I don't know whether this is possible, maybe there's a politician out there that is listening. Tami Caputi, she's a politician. She's also a guest of Enfuego. I was talking to her. But anyway, whenever a big box retailer moves into my neighborhood, every time that one of these big box retailers moves in, I would want some tax incentive for the small businesses that are around, say, a mile radius. Why not? Hey, look, we're paying companies, like Carrier just happened last week, to stay in our state, to stay in our cities. Why not then, when a big box moves in, why not when Carrier stays over in Indiana, wherever it is that they're going to be staying in, why not then also incentivize those small businesses that are in the area? Why not do that?
Great idea.
Why not do that? Yeah. Look, you're going to move Target into my neighborhood. Great, welcome. But the small businesses, I don't care who you are or what product you're selling or service that you're selling. You're a small business, you're going to get a tax incentive. Why not? What do you think?
Wow. I love the idea. Have to think that one through, do a little bit more fact checking, data research.
You are the data
person. Me. But I guess a few things there. If they're going to move into a community, if they took the approach that some of the small businesses take, such as looking at their people as part of their business and community and helping them hit the bottom line, pay a fair wage. If they're going to hire community members, think about their development. I have friends that have worked at companies for a lifetime for big businesses. And you know what they have to say? Not much good. Not much. A lifetime of loyalty only to fear the big layoff without any kind of concern over their lifetime and their development and well-being. So I know that sounds like a broad brush against big business, but that's one thing that big business could do. It's difficult, they're trying to meet shareholder expectations, but I think things are shifting, and that's a good thing. We're hoping that down the road that you have some of these companies that start to think about people as much as they think about profits and investors who might invest in companies that follow that path.
They're going to have to, or else they're not going to have a workforce, because the companies that are going to survive in the future are the ones that learn to take care of their employees, because millennials like to be taken care of. I mean, there's a BuzzFeed video out there. It's a satire, but sponsor a millennial, right? Like, we have a way of life. We have a lot of altruism. I think we're one of the most altruistic generations out there.
Sure.
Amen.
And we can do a lot of good. We just have to be focused. But to be focused, we have to be inspired. And we're not going to be inspired by going to a training and development class where it says sit in there for 8 hours and go back to school and listen to a lecture, take notes, and then be better at customer service. That's just not how it works.
Correct. So the traditional idea, Mary, if I get this correctly, the traditional idea that, of course, a company owes its allegiance to its stockholders, first and foremost, a public company we're talking about, then what we're saying is that there is a social responsibility that may trump that, and that should be first and foremost the responsibility to your community, the responsibility to your society.
Mm-hmm. Well, as Justin said, you have a new group, our population. I think one of our biggest demographics in our population is starting to demand that companies, large companies, become socially minded. Mm-hmm. And so when you see small businesses, the statistics say 2 times the donations to their local charities than big box companies. Big box companies are headquartered elsewhere. There's very few headquartered in Phoenix.
Right.
So if you've ever been on a fundraising drive and you're trying to get money from a big box company, if their headquarters aren't here, it's not always as successful. Mm-hmm. They have budgets, they do that, but the millennials are going to drive it.
We could stay here all day talking about this project. Tune in every Sunday on this, your independent radio station, 1100 KFNX from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., or you're missing out. If you didn't wake up this morning, that's okay. You can check us out on demand on the Entrepreneurs en Fuego channel on YouTube. And I will finish with a quote from Charlie Day. You cannot let a fear of failure or a fear of comparison or a fear of judgment stop you from doing what's going to make you great. You cannot succeed without the risk of failure. You cannot have a voice without the risk of criticism. And you cannot love without the risk of loss. You must go out there and take the risks. This has been your Entrepreneurs en Fuego radio show. Until next week, we're out.